Hi everyone, this is Kim and Chris from Team MilKEEP. Today we'll be speaking with you about maintaining your flight records in a digital world. To frame everyone's expectations, neither of us have a background as a 1 Charlie O SARM troop. We do, however, based on the services we provide at MilKEEP, have a lot of experience dealing with AAMS products. So we're here today to provide you with an operator's view of the different systems used by the HARM and how you can use them to maintain and manage your flight records.
General Brown recently released a document called Accelerate, Change, or Lose shortly after taking the seat as the new Chief of Staff. This is a great insight into what is going on in the Chief's mind right now. Below is a quote straight from the first page. As you can see, this year's ATA theme of connecting mobility warriors in a digital age is directly in line with the Chief's vision. So let's take a quick look at the current systems in place and how they serve as a good example for the Chief's vision of accelerating change.
The Aviation Records Management System, more affectionately known as AAMS, is the primary Air Force system to store flight record data. Having been designed decades ago, AAMS has some limitations by today's technological standards. For example, it holds line-by-line flight time reports for no longer than 18 months. Incidentally, this is why aircrew are required to do an annual flight record review and why, up until September of 2019, your records were printed and placed in a green folder every year. During the required annual flight record review, it is your responsibility to verify the accuracy of the totals and to ensure any corrections are made before they are erased from the system permanently. So, why is this important and why can't you just go back and fix it later? Great question. Let's take a look at a quick example.
If you look at your green HARM folder, there's a good chance that you will see some pages that look like these, with lineouts or sections that are fully Z'd out. During your annual record review, SARM troops will diligently go through and identify any records that AAMS printed out twice and mark them for you as duplicate entries. Now, in a perfect world, any duplicates, typos, or data entry errors are captured. You will review and agree with the findings, and AAMS is updated as necessary, so all individual flights are added up to accurately reflect your flying totals. Now remember, AAMS cannot store data for more than 18 months. When the system purges individual sorties, the only data remaining is a summary total, which is then used as a starting point when the next batch of individual sorties is entered. Of note, once the system is purged of individual sortie data, there is no way for the HARM to verify or correct historical errors. Consequently, the totals on a flying history report are actually the sum of multiple combined summary totals over the course of one's career. This is why it is very important to be diligent during your annual flight record review. After converting tens of thousands of pages of records, MilKEEP has found that nearly 99% of all records processed have included some type of mathematical errors or duplicate sorties which were not properly identified and removed from AAMS during the annual records review process. So, this is a good discussion on why accurate paper records are an important backup product, but there are several factors to consider with paper records.
In October of 2018, Hurricane Michael devastated Tyndall Air Force Base, causing more than $5 billion in damage. That same month, Hurricane Florence battered Camp Lejeune, as well as Marine Corps Air Stations New River and Cherry Point. Only 5 months later, Offutt Air Force Base experienced a similar catastrophe where flooding as high as 8 feet destroyed 137 structures. The blue line you see in the photo was the top of the water line from the flood in the OSS building. As you can imagine, paper records are susceptible to not only natural disasters, but also things like loss and theft. That is why it is critical to have a digital backup of your records.
A new system, though, was about to provide an interim solution. In December of 2019, a memo released from the Air Force Director of Training and Readiness stated that effective 2 January 2020, HARM offices would no longer maintain hard copy flight record folders, or your green folder. Starting in December of 2019, HARM offices began returning historical paper documents from your green flight record folder to aircrew. If you haven't gotten it yet from your HARM, you should contact them to make sure you get your records. This may be the only copy in existence. Flying history reports and line-by-line flight time reports are still available within the AAMS Aircrew Summary application on Air Force Portal. For line-by-line flight time reports past a period of 18 months, airmen can now retrieve those records using the Automated Aircrew Management System, or AAMS.
For anyone who has not yet tried the AAMS app, we place the web address below. You can also type AAMS into the search bar on Air Force Portal, and it will take you to a link. AAMS is a system that contains a ton of information for statistical analysis and is utilized for much more than just flight records. For this discussion, though, we are just going to speak to how AAMS relates to ARMS and how AAMS helps overcome the previously discussed limitations with ARMS. Most importantly, AAMS can hold up to 10 years worth of line-by-line flight time reports. Remember, AAMS is still the primary source for your flight records. AAMS complements ARMS in terms of record keeping once those flights are older than 18 months. When you navigate to your flight record section in AAMS, you will notice that there is more information available to you than is presented in your historical hard copy records. Specifically, AAMS will show you the mission number and mission symbol for each individual flight entry. This is incredibly helpful information for things like air medal or campaign medal paperwork. Now, there are two things you need to keep in mind with regard to AAMS. First, AAMS will not contain records from your hard copy flight record folder. The Air Force will not retroactively convert those paper records to digital format and upload your last 10 years of records into AAMS. AAMS will only contain the line-by-line entries which can be pulled from ARMS. Second, AAMS will only be able to hold about half of a 20-year flying career. We can assume that another solution will be developed as the Air Force tries to rapidly move forward with digital, low-cost, high-tech warfighting capacities, like the Chief said. But it is worth noting that taking the onus on oneself to safeguard this information will always ensure the highest level of fidelity.
Based on everything we've talked about, we'd like to highlight 4 best practices to maintain your records in a digital world. First, keep a personal logbook. Beyond helping you with your annual flight records review, you can capture details that ARMS won't, like noteworthy mission events, metrics for packs, cargo, fuel offloaded, and the like, so that you'll have an easy place to reference when it comes time for performance reports, awards, and paperwork for military decorations. Number 2, honor the flight record review. While it's incredibly tempting to pencil whip it now and think you can deal with it later, we've shown that there may not be any way to go back and verify or correct an error. Take the time and do it right once a year. It will be a huge relief at the end of a flying career. 2 bases got destroyed in 2018 and 2019 due to natural disasters. Now that bases won't keep paper records for you, it's arguable that your data is at an even higher risk when you include things like theft, fire, or simply loss. Creating a digital backup for your paper records is the safest way to ensure their safety. Once records have been digitized, you should find a way to store them in the cloud. Of course, we recommend redacting any personal information on your records prior to uploading, and there are several ways to implement this in a secure way. The bottom line is simple. No one will ever care about your records more than you. If you take care of your records now, they will take care of you later. So take ownership of your records. You never know when you're going to need them in the future.
We wanted to close quickly with another quote from General Brown's Accelerate or Change memo. General Brown talks in depth about empowering our incredible airmen to solve any problem. He knows that airmen have fantastic ideas and are the subject matter experts in their field. So they are the best suited to determine where change is needed. He also knows how much we ask of our airmen, and that they don't always have the free time to build a perfect solution all on their own. We've tried to highlight that the data contained in your flight records can be leveraged to automate and streamline processes like paperwork for military decorations. Expand that thought for just a moment, and you can imagine just about every office in a squadron has processes that need data from that same record. The chief is challenging you to think differently about how you would like the system to work for you. And he definitely is not asking you to maintain the status quo. If you ever have any ideas for streamlining processes and don't have the time or expertise to craft a solution, industry partners are out there to help. Thank you everyone for your time. We are humbled to have this opportunity to speak with you all, as well as to have the privilege to be trusted with your records. We will have a Zoom room set up during the virtual exhibit hall for anyone who wants to stop in and ask questions. Thanks again.